Alright, welcome to another bonus video Sunday, and this is just a little update to my subscribers who have been following along with this Musa Basjoo banana tree grove. I've been growing here for the past, I think 3 years now, and I said in the beginning of the spring that what I was going to do is I was going to be cutting out all of the new shoots that would be coming up and only keep one just to see if it would get larger. So as you can see here, everything's pretty much been dying off here because it's the middle of fall and we've had a couple of very light freezes, some snow and some frost, so it's pretty much destroyed it. It actually is still alive. Say if we were to have like a miracle warm-up or something like that, this would probably start growing again. So the actual trunk of it's not actually dead, just the leaves for the most part. It is pretty cold tolerant. So anyways, what I wanted to update here was to basically let you know that the main trunk, or I should say the main plant, the main tree, which was this one right here, I was going to be keeping that because that was the one I protected over the winter, or at least somewhat protected. And I was going to cut out all the other ones and to see if it would make that one grow better by removing anything that would grow around it, just so it would have the most nutrients and moisture to suck up on its own, and it didn't really work out. So what I actually did about 2 times, see all these small ones down here? About 2 times I actually cut those out and then they would slowly grow back. But the main one there never got any bigger. It pretty much stayed exactly as it was. Obviously it kept growing new leaves very slowly, but it just never got any taller. The original one that I planted here, that was actually back in my garden back there, that was 15 feet tall. But I bought that from a garden center and it was already about 4 feet tall when we planted it in the beginning of the summer. So it was well above the gutter here when I first had it here. And then slowly over the next couple of years, even though I was protecting new ones, every year they were not reaching that height at all. They were getting shorter and shorter. And the reason for that is not because it's being crowded out with itself. It's actually because it grows a lot like bamboo. As you can see, I have my bamboo grove back there. I've done that for many years now. It grows a lot like bamboo. And basically what that means is that over the winter, when this top growth dies, the roots in the ground are still alive. And in the springtime, a new tree, or a plant, I should say, starts to emerge. But every time that it does that, dies back and comes back again each year, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Eventually it's not going to get to the point where there's nothing left, but it's going to get to a point where it's just going to only be like these tiny little plants growing in here, because it's not protected. The way that you make these things get large or stay large on every year is basically to protect it. So you gotta, over the past couple of years, I've protected it through a couple different methods just to see what would happen. I already know how to protect this to make sure it stays alive during the winter, but I was just trying different methods. And the only reason why that one is as large as it is because that one was partly alive because it was kept that way over the winter. But if that was to die off completely to the ground and then grow a new shoot in the spring, it's going to be smaller than that, most likely. It's just like bamboo. If the top growth dies, the next year the new shoots are going to be shorter than the last year. And it's very similar to that. So basically this year what I'm going to do is nothing. I'm just going to see what happens. If I don't protect it whatsoever, I'm just going to let the stuff die. I'm not going to chop it down, and I'll just see how big the stuff gets next year, just as an experiment. Now, for those out there looking for the best way to protect a banana tree over the winter, if you want to keep it large and keep it getting bigger each year, or to as big as it can get anyways, is basically just to take garbage bags filled with leaves, put it around one of the stumps or the stems after the leaves are being cut off. Just put bags of leaves around it, leave a gap in the center, and then fill the center with leaves. That's just to make sure that you have airspace inside of there, so it's not just wrapped completely with like plastic from the plastic bags. You don't want to suffocate it or have it build up a lot of moisture inside there. Stack it up about at least 2 high, I would say, with the garbage bags full of leaves. It doesn't have to be, around this like entire perimeter, just so it's next to it. So you have about I'd say at least 18 inches or so of diameter space around the actual stem. So like one of these here. So you just want to have, you don't want the bags to be up against it. You want to be further away, like out to here, and then fill in the gap around it with the leaves. So what the outer bags will do is basically block the wind and everything, and they'll act as a pretty large insulation barrier, and also it's easier to clean up in the springtime. You don't gotta like rake a big pile of leaves away for it. They're all inside of bags as it is. But the center part with the leaves filled in there is further insulation, and it also acts as just an airspace around it so it doesn't rot. And then you probably want to leave out on the top part of it. You probably don't want to cover it with plastic necessarily, or at least something that has maybe just, it's covered, but it just can vent a little bit. That would be my suggestion to anyone looking for some answers on how to protect a banana tree over winter. But as far as what I'm doing here, and just an update to my subscribers who've been following along, this year, that's what's happened. And over this winter, I'm not going to protect it. I'm just going to let it go and see what happens in the spring. And of course, I'll be making a video then. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.